Welcome to Storytime with Karen and Kevin. I'm your host, Karen Monroe. Today, we'll be reading stories from r/AmITheJerk. Before we get started, now is a great time to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Our first story was posted by PaleArachnid8452. Am I the jerk for not being happy that my sister is pregnant again? My sister got knocked up by her boyfriend right out of high school, got married the next year, then proceeded to pop out another baby every year or two, so she has 4 now at 24 years old. She's a stay-at-home mom, even though she was brilliant and could have gotten a free ride to a great university. Since hers are the only grandkids, our parents fawn over her like she's the next coming of Jesus. They gush over every new tooth or haircut, like it's some huge achievement. The problem is, her husband's business wasn't great even before COVID, and is barely limping along now. My sister doesn't work, and my parents have limited income. So, guess who's constantly being told to lend them money for stuff like school fees, a car seat, a car payment, new stroller, etc. They don't even ask. My mom just texts me, "Your sister needs X amount of dollars for the kids," and I'm supposed to cough it up. If I complain, they accuse me of being jealous because I don't have a husband and family, even though I'm older. I'm only 26. So, over Easter, I notice my sister isn't drinking, and I think, oh gosh, here we go again. Sure enough, she stands up and announces that she's been inseminated with yet another precious miracle. Everyone's gushing, and I just want to stay quiet and out of the way. Later, she asks me if everything's alright, and I try to play it off, but she pushes, so I asked her if she and her husband could really afford another baby. She very snippily replies, "God will provide like he has so far," which really ticked me off. I yelled that, no, actually God didn't provide for her babies, I did, and I wasn't going to give them any more handouts. It devolved into a big argument with everyone shouting at me, and basically I've been banned from my family unless I apologize. I haven't apologized. It's been radio silence, except for one text from my mom saying that if my sister miscarries, it's my fault for stressing her out. I asked if my sister was showing any symptoms, but no one will answer or tell me. I don't know. I don't think I'm the jerk, but I don't want to be the reason she miscarries. Also, I think I might be the jerk because secretly, I think it would be better if she did, even though I would never say that to her. Alright, OP, I do think you need to call their bluff and be like, okay, guess we're not talking. Good luck. Hopefully God will provide for your babies like he has, maybe a miracle really will come through. And when it definitely doesn't, I don't know, you can say I told you so. I feel like that's a good time and a place. You've been through enough. Our next story was posted by RideUnique2893. Am I the jerk for ruining the chances of my mom having a baby? I, 24 female, have always supported both my parents, even though they are separated. My mother had a boyfriend for about 2 years now. Her boyfriend's dream is to have children of his own, something my mother cannot do. Not only does she have her tubes tied, but she has a lot of health problems. The deal was that they were going to break up, but they seemed to always extend their breakup date. My mother had a talk with him about their breakup. Suddenly, he wants to do anything possible to have a baby with her, including IVF. I thought that my mom would get a consultation and she would get rejected just from her bad health. Somehow, a doctor convinced my mom it is possible. She asked him for $15,000 for a life-saving surgery. This is somewhat true because she does need 2 surgeries for her current health problems. My father talked to me and asked if I really thought that she was being truthful, since we all know about the baby thing. I told him I don't think she would lie about something like that. My mother then came over and told me the plan of how to pay for the IVF and how she would ask my dad for the money. She told me this on a Saturday. On Sunday, I met my dad again. He told me how worried he was about my mom and how he had the $15,000 cash ready for her. I tried convincing my mother to tell him the truth and to not do things like this. She got defensive and showed no signs of fessing up, so I sat my father down and I told him. Since then, she told me how awful my father was to her and how she deserves to be happy. She was never cared for or loved, and she feels he should pay for it. My father has done horrible things like cheating, but since they broke up, he's helped her a lot financially. I do not condone my father's actions, but something in my heart told me this was wrong. My number one fear was her health. I decided to distance myself from her until she breaks up with her boyfriend. I told her I would still be there for her for anything. I still send her pictures of her granddaughter every day and keep her updated. She's now saying how I don't care about her happiness, and my ultimatum is way too harsh. However, her relationship with her boyfriend has actually affected my little family in the past. We were all supposed to move in together after they broke up. He decided to stay last minute, and I had to let go of an apartment. Let's just say I'm not comfortable with him being around my daughter. Since the whole baby thing began, he's made sexist comments about female babies. I think I may be the jerk because she has a timer on her. She's 45, and at 46, they won't use your eggs for IVF anymore. I'm not really sure. That's what she said anyways. She's turning 46 this month, and I may have ruined her only chance of ever conceiving a baby. Down in the comments, someone summed it up pretty perfectly. Weren't you a baby? Do you not count? Don't put that on yourself. She's not desperate to have a baby, she's desperate to keep her man. A man that doesn't care for her one bit whether or not this is good for her health or not. Also, she lied to your dad to get $15,000. That's fraud. You are not the jerk in this situation. You did good, kid. I definitely agree with that point, and also might I point out, I don't know, if a doctor is approving that after all of the health problems she apparently has, either she's lying about her health problems, which doesn't seem pretty likely because you're pretty aware of it, but more likely he's just trying to get some money out of her, because that stuff is so obviously so expensive. She borrowed $15,000. I feel like that's probably not even all of what it takes to do the IVF. So yeah, he's probably trying to make some money, and I don't know, I feel like it's not like one of those things where it's like, oh, like guaranteed to work or your money back. Like, it's probably not how it works. It's like you pay whether it works or not, so thanks for the paycheck. Yeah, you're not the jerk, not at all. Our last story was posted by That's Yo Jar 2013. Am I the jerk for making a pregnancy jar? My husband and I have been married for 6 years. We still don't have kids. We want them, but it's still not happening. Friends and family are causing us constant stress about having a baby soon, but it's obviously something we can't control. We only wish that they'd stop, but to no avail. So I came up with this idea. It's stupid, I know. And that is that I have an empty jar and I call it my pregnancy jar. I carry it with me in my bag, and whenever I'm with friends and family and someone asks about when my husband and I are going to have a baby, I pull my jar out and ask them to drop $1 in there. I get puzzled looks, but most people reach out of their pockets, wallets, or purse and pull out $1 and put it inside the jar. It's actually worked because most of them stopped asking after about 4 months. Last week, we had dinner at my parents' house. My brother came back from his business trip that lasted a month. And while we were eating, he asked when me and my husband were going to have a kid. My husband paused. I got up from the chair and made my way to where my brother was sitting with my jar in hand and asked him to drop $1 for the question he asked. He stared at me and then laughed nervously, asking if I was being serious. Everyone was looking at us. He said no, he didn't have to pay me, but I told him he didn't have to ask either, so here we are. I could tell he felt embarrassed. He immediately reached out of his pocket, pulled out his wallet, and put $1 in my jar. I made my way back to my seat and sat down and resumed eating like nothing happened. It got awkward afterward. My mom pulled me into the kitchen later to tell me that I embarrassed my brother in front of his wife and family and said I should quit acting childish by running around with a jar demanding others put money in it. I told her they should quit asking then. She went on about how they're just worried for us since we're in our mid-30s and don't have much time left if we want to have at least one healthy baby. I got upset and she started arguing. My husband and I left, and we haven't seen them in days, except I got a call from my sister basically siding with my mom and the others, saying I'm being childish. So, am I the jerk? edits to add. This has been going on for years, but in the past year, it's gotten worse. I already told him about how I feel regarding this question. My husband doesn't care much and says I should let it go too. Yes, they pay every time because it's just $1. It won't make me any richer or them any poorer. My husband and I spend the money on snacks to eat every night when watching TV or some toys for the dog. This just makes me so frustrated because it is just so weird how many people are so concerned about what you do with your life. Like, they're not gonna live your life. I understand, like, oh, you want a grandkid, I want, a niece or a nephew or whatever, but like, your whole life isn't gonna change by me having a baby, but mine will. Why do you, like, we don't necessarily gonna feel the same way about kids, I don't have children. I don't really know how I feel about them, and I feel like that's a good enough reason to, like, not be super, like, gung-ho about having one. Like, luckily, no one in my life is, like, too pressury about it, but yeah, actually, I might do the same thing because it's kind of like, when someone tells, like, a racist joke and, like, it's really bad and no one laughs, and they say, oh, you just ask them, like, oh, I don't get it. Could you explain it to me? It's kind of like that. It's like you have no business interjecting your thoughts into what you think I should do or what you think is funny. So, yeah, I'm going to call you out on it, and it's going to cost you money. I love it. That's all for today. Thanks for tuning in. If you like what we do, please leave a like or a comment down below. We'd really appreciate it. Bye.